historical perspective on the empire and where Lucas got the ideas and reflections and actual real life historical events, genocide is not cool. Liking the empire is not cool. Get ready. Hey guys, it's Steph. Welcome back to the Cantina. Please feel free to subscribe if you haven't. Please feel free to hit that bell for more content. Smash that like button, and please remember to share away here. We share away here. We love Star Wars. There's a trend out there that's very troubling among the fandom about liking the empire, and this is sort of a historical lecture. Okay, all right, and there are a lot of people out there who really need to hear why it's a stupid thing. So get ready. So anyway, Cantina dwellers, I've noticed a strange, really kind of sick, disgusting phenomenon amongst the fans. Now you can do whatever you want, you can like whatever you want, but when you tell me in an asinine way that you liked it, that a certain character was very popular with the fanhood, and me in particular, was killed because you're a fan of the empire, I'm gonna take you to school, okay? I didn't spend college going out to bars, drinking, and, not studying. I spent a semester abroad in Germany, Berlin, the seat of the, Nazi Germany from 1932 to, 1945 when us and a few other people decided to end that shit, okay? There's a reason why we ended that shit. Let me explain why. Let's talk a little bit about genocide, okay? There's a reason why George Lucas fashioned the empire in the way it was. There's a little bit of the Imperial Japan, which committed genocide. Let's talk about evil. The Bataan Death March, the way they treated the Koreans. I lived in Korea. You want me to get my Korean friends to explain to you why the Imperial Japanese were a bunch of racist pricks? I can go get them. I'm sure they would love to show up, okay? And explain to you that little bit of history. Rape in Nanking, what they did to the Chinese. They were basically purveyors of, it wasn't industrialized genocide like the Germans did with the final solution, but it was genocide and evil. And when you do genocide and you wipe out a whole culture, you take it over, you deny them their attempt to use even their own language, that's wrong. That's what the empire did, okay? And you like that? Why? What, do you feel insecure? What, you think you know what makes republics weak? People who lack values, okay? So when you're looking at Disney's shitty fucking canon, 30 years for New Republic to go from on it, we're done, we're doing this, everybody's got a thing they're doing, to a bunch of weak and fat bastards is bullshit. Okay, that doesn't even work. All right. Takes a little time for a new government. It takes decades. It takes centuries. Okay, let's talk about the Romans. Purveyors of a genocide. What did they do to the Jews in 64, 62 AD? Two diasporas after a revolution that the Jews put on ended up causing the Romans to go into Jerusalem, burn it to the ground, and burn the temple down completely. Okay, that's why the Temple Mount had no temple there. The Romans did that. Then they took most of the remaining Jews that they didn't kill and spread them out all over Europe. How did the Jews get to Europe? Well, little historical perspective here. Okay? Then there was a second diaspora. Okay? That's genocide. Okay, that is genocide. That is what the empire did. Okay? So let's talk about the Russians. Pogroms during the Tsar's reign against Russian or Jewish villages and towns in Russia because, they don't like Jews. Good reason to want to kill people. Yeah, I don't like them, so I'm going to kill you. All right. Then when the communists took over, there was a certain genocide, and it was genocide. They wiped out Russian history. They wanted to rewrite it. That's genocide. They wiped out whole families. That's genocide. Okay. Communists. Yes. Okay. Then we have the Ukrainian genocide, where I think it was 12 million Ukrainians were killed, starved to death. Stalin starved them to death, maybe more. That number's up in the air. Let's go to the first genocide of the 20th century, the Armenian genocide that the Turkish government perpetuated on Armenians who were Christian. They slaughtered millions, and it was the first one. So let's go to the one we all talk about. The final solution, Germany's final solution to the Jewish question, problem, whatever they imagined it was. They started out by making the Nuremberg laws. There were laws about what Jews were allowed to do and what they weren't allowed to do. Then there were purity laws, okay, which was, they basically turned human beings into animals. If you had a little bit of Jewish blood, you were okay. If you had more, you're starting to not be okay. That's how it starts. They burned texts written by Thomas Mann, Goethe, Jewish composers, poets, you name it. And Rainer Maria Rilke's stuff got burned. He wasn't Jewish, but if you weren't their kind of guy, then your stuff got burned. And it wasn't like, I don't like this shit, I'm gonna burn it. It was, that is ideologically, culturally, and racially unsound for the Reich, and it must be destroyed. Rewriting history to reflect their racist views of what Germany and Europe was. 1938, a Jewish man kills a German official, and that this sets off Kristallnacht. Thousands of Jewish businesses all over Germany were destroyed. Jews were arrested by the bucket load and thrown into camps. Jews were killed. Okay, that's genocide. So, when the Germans start World War II, September 1st, 1939, they start marching into Poland. Poland had a huge Jewish population. They started arresting Jews, hurting them up, and sending them to ghettos. You've heard of the Warsaw Ghetto? They had a ghetto in, Krakow. And then they were and then when the Germans went in 1942, wait a second, then as they invaded Russia, they came up with these units, and they were civilian units. I mean, many were just reserves who were police officers that went in behind the Wehrmacht and Waffen-SS, taking Jews by the thousands and shooting them. Okay, the massacre at Babi Yar killed 80 million Jews. Okay, let's go further. Okay, after that, shooting the Jews started to really wear on the guys that were actually doing it. I mean, let's put it this way. Even if you think another human being is a subhuman, killing a woman really bothers a man. It doesn't matter if they're Nazis or not. They know in deep in their hearts what they're doing is wrong. So in 1942, at the Wannsee House in Berlin, Germany, and I've been there because I was studying all of that stuff. I actually went to go visit it. I took a tour. Reinhard Heydrich, who is the Reichs whatever of Moravia and Bohemia, led a conference, a day-long conference at this place on the Wannsee in Berlin. Beautiful house, by the way, to talk about the final solution to the Jewish question. Now, the Germans have been testing different ways to mass execute Jews without shooting them. And they used vans with the exhaust was put it back into the van, and it was covered and people couldn't get out. And that didn't really work. It wasn't really very feasible. And it turned the people pink, which is, I mean, to even think this way is disgusting to me. Then they thought about a lot of other different ways, and they came up with gas chambers that were called bath and disinfection. You go in there, you're thinking you're going to get, something that'll take off all the lice and stuff, because, when you're stuck in a ghetto or you're stuck in a transit camp, you're not going to be able to take a bath, you're not going to be able to keep yourself clean, and you'll get lice, you'll get typhus, you'll be lucky to get to the camp and not die from some disease. And they decided to use Zyklon B gas, which is a kind of Zyklon B gas, which is hydrocyanide. It's a cyanide gas, and it was used as a bug killer. And that's what they used, and they killed 6 million Jews, 12 million people in their gas chambers altogether. It's hard to believe what these men were talking about. There's a great movie, and I will tell you the name of it. It's called Conspiracy. Stanley Tucci as Adolf Eichmann, Kenneth Branagh as Reinhard Heydrich are in it, and they basically, it's the Wannsee Conference. They're right there, and you can watch it. And it's in English, so you're not looking at subtitles. But it's something anybody who thinks they like the empire should see, because I'm getting sick of it. Freedom is something every human being should cherish. Individual liberty is something everybody should cherish. I would really like to know that some of the people who like the empire, what their political affiliation, because I guess they're not, I bet you they're not libertarian, and I'll bet you they're not Republican. Okay? I'll bet $1,000, because no one who values human life, values individual liberty, who could see Star Wars and see what Darth Vader did, what the Emperor did, what they did to Alderaan, could go, wow, I want to be like that. That's billions of people. Think before you say you like something, okay? There's a morality to it, and there's nothing cool about it. I mean, to me, it just says some people feel themselves really powerless, because how could you like that? How? You really got to wonder how you could feel something for an entity, even fictionalized, that would doom to death an entire culture, that would wipe out an entire race of humanity. And that's exactly what they did. And they didn't just do it on Alderaan, they did it everywhere. All right? They did it in different ways everywhere. So before you come and tell me you like the empire, you better think about all the historical instances that I brought up, and think about how many people they killed. Because human life is the most valuable thing we have, and we should protect it everywhere and everywhere we find it. It is our moral imperative to do that. Okay? And the more I studied Nazi Germany, the more I studied Russia, China, which, it is purported they killed 60 million people during the Cultural Revolution. They wiped out intellectuals. They wiped out gads and gads of intellectual history. That's genocide. Think about that next time you tell me you like the empire. This is Steph, signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy. I'll see you around the Cantina. Please remember to tip the Wookiee bartenders 20%. Please don't start any fights in the Cantina. Take those gunfights out. That shit goes out on the street. No droids, no binaries. I'll see you on the Cantina, scoundrels. A little historical perspective on the empire and where Lucas got the ideas and reflections and actual real life historical events. Genocide is not cool. Liking the empire is not cool. Get ready.